Is there something magical about the age of 30? Or did that become the age of marriage for men because that was how old Zacharias was when deity chose him to be the one to found Estolia? The resulting symmetry in our royal succession, however, has always felt both logical and divinely inspired. No one leader remains longer than the time it takes for their son to produce an heir. This ensures that each regent yields his authority while still vigorous, able to enjoy retirement from the affairs of state that can at times weigh heavily upon the royal brow. Personally, I believe deity chose 30 because that is how old Zacharias was, not the other way around. Yet the symmetry of our succession feels as ancient and inevitable as if the pattern had been fixed before the world was formed in the void of space. Lazarus Ezekiel Zakarian, Capitulo 88.
That night, the three girls dressed in gowns prepared by the royal clothier. They were all the same basic cut, off the shoulder, with short sleeves. Laura's was gold with a zigzag vertical series of slender purple and green stripes. Camilla's was purple with green and gold, and Charlotte's was green with purple and gold. The silk was heavier than Charlotte expected, lined with something that whispered against her stockings when she walked. She had never worn a gown so deliberately ornate, so unmistakably intended for a state occasion. Camilla moved to the mirror and adjusted a curl, humming something tuneless and bright, her cheeks still flushed from the morning. Laura sat on the edge of her bed, already dressed, her fingers plucking at the gold zigzags as though she wished to unravel them. As they prepared to leave their tower suite, Laura stopped the other two girls, chin jutting stubbornly, looking disturbed and mutinous.
"What is it, Laura?"
Camilla asked.
"It is not fair,"
she wailed, brows bunching, forehead wrinkling, lips puckered in a grimace.
"What isn't?"
Charlotte asked her. Laura's voice cracked, her eyes bright, shimmering.
"You both found someone, but I did not. Why?"
Her voice came out shrill and unhappy.
"Are you sure you have not found someone?"
Camilla asked gently. She glanced at Charlotte, then turned fully toward Laura. Laura blushed scarlet and looked away.
"Antonio tells me that I should return in a year. A year! I do not wish to wait."
Camilla caught Laura's hands and drew her toward the cushioned chairs by the fireplace. Charlotte followed, unsure how to ease her friend's distress.
"You wish, Antonio?"
Camilla asked.
"Yes."
Laura wailed.
I want him. I want him now."
"Do you understand Antonio's position here in Estolia?"
Camilla asked her. Laura shook her head.
"I do not understand anything that happens here. It is a strange land."
"If you had to choose the man with the most power here in Estolia, would you choose the king or Ricardon?"
Laura opened her mouth to respond, but then paused, her brow wrinkling as she thought about it.
"I would think the king, but I am not so sure."
Camilla's expression reminded Charlotte of her governess when a lesson came back correctly, or her tutor when she grasped some difficult concept.
"The true power in Estolia is always in the hands of the keeper,"
she said, the words carrying the cadence of something memorized long ago. She knelt before Laura and took her hands, pressing them firmly.
"Antonio has asked you to return in a year. He is only a year younger than the future king. However, Laura, you must understand, no man in Estolia who wishes to accept the blessings of deity marries before he turns 30. Do you wish to have only Antonio, an unhappy man deprived of his heritage, his role, his position? Or do you wish to have everything Antonio is destined to be? Is he worth the wait?"
Laura looked ready to argue, then deflated.
"Will he still be interested in me in a year?"
Charlotte answered.
"If he is not, then he is not worth your time."
After a moment, Laura's chin came up.
"I believe I should return to Barcelona."
Camilla nodded.
"I think that is a good choice, my friend. But please, promise to visit in a year."
Laura managed a wan smile.
"Yes, I will."
Camilla stood and drew Laura into her arms, holding her tightly before stepping back.
"Come, tonight is, in many ways, Antonio's night. He takes on his first of 3 pivotal roles in Estolia. Reggie will be king by this time next year, but the man who becomes keeper is destined to be the most powerful man in the entire nation."
The 3 girls left their suite and spent 10 minutes making their way through the maze-like corridors, halls and passageways of the palace until they finally reached the massive foyer. Ricard and Antonio escorted Laura out to the waiting carriages. Reggie escorted Charlotte, Generaldo escorted Camilla. The carriage they approached was unlike the simpler open-topped carriages that had transported the three couples over the previous days. This one had 6 pure white horses, their harnesses elaborate and gold-studded, bridles crested with plumes of purple and green feathers. Reggie handed her in with an unfamiliar formality. She recalled one of their earlier conversations. He had explained that only kings and their wives were conveyed by white horses. The interior was more ornate than the simpler carriages Reggie had used for their travels in the last couple of days. Gold filigree edged the door panels, and the cushions beneath her were embroidered in green and purple so lavishly they must have cost an extraordinary sum. Through the window she glimpsed the driver and footman in matching livery, the same colours, the same intricate gold thread. Everything announced rank and wealth in a language that required no translation. Reggie sat across from her in full regalia: crown, thick tapestry-embroidered cape, sword, his clothing immaculate. She could not reconcile the prince before her with the man who had spoken to her at dawn. Had he truly declared his intention to marry her just that morning, as they watched the sun rise from the top of Mount Estoliana? The carriage came to a stop outside the cathedral. Reggie handed her down, smiled and offered his arm. She took it and walked with him into a space packed beyond what she had imagined. Heat rose to her face. She and Reggie were the centre of every eye in the room. He brought her to where his mother sat in front of the assembled Estolians. Charlotte settled into the seat beside her. Reggie pressed her hand briefly, then turned and mounted the dais steps to take his place.
I found him on a distant shore, a man whose soul was made for mine. Each moment I just want him more than jewels or gold refined. He said